say let's go back a step, and and now we're imagining this world where Congress is more majoritarian than the Supreme Court. And I think at this moment, it's hard to say otherwise. If we think about the most small d democratic institutions, how would you rank them? I think you'd rank them number one, the state house, number two, the U.S. House, number two, the U.S. Senate, number three, the Supreme Court. If I'm wrong about my ranking, tell me. But if I have it right, then make the case for why you'd say that the U.S. Senate that gives, I don't know, 28 Senate seats for states that amount to, fewer voters than the state of Texas or Florida, not to say nothing of California, that we in fact have a majoritarian path relying on Congress.
Well, you're totally right. This is Sandy Levinson of the University of Texas's point that we have an undemocratic constitution, that the Senate, by apportioning 2 senators per state, is inherently undemocratic. But I just think if Democrats run on this issue of abortion rights, that's a winner, right? Yeah. That even with the deck stacked against, right, the majority in the Senate, I'm with your rankings. I don't know where I would put the presidency because of the Electoral College, right? I think I'd put the presidency maybe behind the House, but in front of the Senate in terms of being majoritarian. But still, even with the Electoral College, even with gerrymandering in the House, even with 2 senators per state that gives the population of New York State the same amount of senators as, say, the people of Wyoming, right? Which is completely crazy, right? But even with all those problems that are inherent in our system, when the president and the Congress fail to exercise their 14th Amendment powers, right? It's like when muscles that become atrophied, Jeff, and this has been going on for a really long time. I'm not just going to blame it all on William Brennan, right? When the Congress, and these guys are heroes, when they passed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Kennedy Justice Department made a huge mistake. They said, we're going to pass this under the Commerce Clause because we know we can get a 9-0 decision if we pass this law under the Commerce Clause. And a great constitutional law professor at Stanford named Gerald Gunther says, you guys are screwing up here. This is not about commerce or regulating interstate commerce. This is about discrimination. You should be using Congress's power under the 14th Amendment. And they didn't, because they were worried about overruling some 19th century racist Supreme Court decisions around the time of Plessy versus Ferguson that maybe stood in their way a little bit, or they were worried about not getting an unanimous court. And I think what's happened is the Congress, because they've so frequently exercised their 14th Amendment powers, those are like atrophied muscles, and Congress has to build those muscles back up again by using them and by trying to pass legislation under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment to protect our rights as equal citizens.